Okay, now I think I'm capturing on the right device. So previously when I thought I was muted, I probably wasn't. Aha, excellent. People can hear me. Awesome. I believe I'm capturing on the right device. I have conquered YouTube and OBS. Watch out, world. Okay, let's see. Okay, get started here. Hopefully other people will join, but I'm planning on posting this, so it'll be there for posterity. So I'm going to switch my video source from the window to screen capture, which will give you that nice hall of mirrors effect going. Um, and then I'm going to switch to my editor here. So given that this is the first time uh, I've live streamed, actually first time I've ever live streamed, I've done plenty of pairing and presenting and coding in groups and that sort of thing, but never exactly in this way. Um, I thought I'd first give a little bit of intro about why I'm doing this. So, few different reasons. I mean, basically, I quit my old job a while back to work full time on Arweave. And I don't expect everyone, I mean, I'm not sure exactly who might end up seeing this from Twitter, and probably most of the people who follow me are not into Arweave already, although they see me going on about it if they follow me on Twitter. But anyway, I should probably explain what it is. So I have my notes up here on my screen, which I presume you can see. So basically, I mean, Arweave is a blockchain. It's like other blockchains in the sense that it's a permanent mutable log of things. However, unlike other blockchains, um, it has this whole scalable storage concept attached to it. So uh, I've settled on the word scalable to describe it because nothing is physically infinite, but you can attach fairly arbitrary amounts of storage to transactions in the blockchain, and there's an incentive built in to preserve that forever if things work correctly. And I think that's an incredibly compelling concept, and um, I think if we can make that work at scale, it'll be very important. I think if I need to write about this at some point. I think if I talk about it too much off the cuff, I probably end up sounding a little bit like a crazy person. Um, but I think there's reasons like societal reasons you might want that. Stealth edits in the news, those are a thing. So there's just a reason, lots of reasons at sort of societal level why it's important to be able to refer to the past in a reliable way, or at least representations of the past, right? Like this is not some sort of infallible oracle. It's what people put into it. But you can at least know that if you put something into this, it's not changed. Um, or yeah, in principle, it's not changed, and that's the guarantee of the system. But I think it goes well beyond that. And like I said, I need to write more about this because I think if I just start blathering on about it, it sounds a little crazy. But you can summarize my view in by saying essentially that permanent, immutable, and globally addressable data just has a much higher utility than data that does not have those characteristics. Now, not every piece of data should be saved that way. I mean, there's ephemeral stuff and stuff you might not want preserved, but for the things where those are desirable properties, if you have a system that gives you those, it just becomes much more useful. And you can see this in the tech world too. Event sourcing, um, event sourcing is a big deal, in the enterprise world, and it's basically just because of the same thing. It's not a blockchain. There's no guarantee built into it. But in enterprise, you do event sourcing. You have this immutable log, never changes. You can replay history, do all kinds of things with it, and it's for that exact reason, right? The data just gains a lot more utility when it has those properties. And of course, inside a company, it's just the company committing to that sort of thing as a way to work on systems that makes that come true. Uh, if you want that at a larger scale, I think you really do need a blockchain in order to guarantee it, because you just have a bunch of actors participating who may or may not, they may there may be very strong incentives to alter that. And honestly, even in enterprise, there's pretty strong incentives to alter that, not for malicious reasons, just for like convenience reasons. And then all of a sudden you do that and you start losing all these guarantees. So having those things baked in is good. So anyway, I think if we can make this happen at scale, it's going to be very important and useful. And the thing I'm working on is a distributed mining pool, which is just kind of a coincidence in a way. It just seems like it's sort of a gap in the ecosystem. There's centralized mining pools. I think a distributed mining pool has some obvious advantages to that, and it fits pretty well with my skills. And so it seems like a niche I can go into and hopefully contribute to the ecosystem overall. So that's the context of this. And what I'm doing with this stream is, obviously, obviously it's sort of a certain sort of advertising purpose, to get stuff out there that's about Arweave and about things I'm working on. But beyond that, I was just thinking the other day, it's like, okay, I would like to do some pairing with people. So I could start reaching out to people in the community and arrange pairing sessions, or I could just sort of stream the work I'm doing, and then there's a record of it. I think for me personally, it has a lot of the same effects as pairing, because I'm going to be doing things in front of an audience. I should probably check my browser here to make sure. Ooh, the screen share is cut off at the bottom right. You're not missing any content, are you? Or that might have been on the original window. Well, do tell me if there's anything going wrong there. Okay. Anywho, where was I? Yeah. So anyway, so I think this serves for me this very similar purpose to pairing, and it has all these other benefits, right? Like this is out there. Hopefully, it is an effective thing to draw people to Arweave and projects I'm working on, and is an educational resource. I mean, half the reason I'm working on the things I'm working on is also just to educate people about these things. I've done that kind of work in the past. Like I did a Kickstarter, which basically was just trying to popularize a certain style of application architecture by building a game. Um, it's pretty effective. People build businesses on top of that. So if I can replicate some of that and just help educate people about Arweave, and then sort of a side quest, bring Clojure people into Arweave, because Clojure people like immutability. This is like immutable, all the things. If I can make that connection and connect people who would have common interests across those communities, I think that would be great. And so I have some connections on both sides there. And then I think even more than pairing, if you're going to do stuff in front of an audience, it really does force you to like look at the details, and so you sound like less of an idiot when you're talking in front of people. Although I'm not afraid of sounding like an idiot too. I would like to save that for later when people know I have some competence, and be like less of an idiot initially. Yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on intro here. I guess I'll just say, for people who don't know me, I'm into databases, functional programming, specifically Clojure. In fact, I would say, yeah, almost exclusively Clojure. I mean, I like the functional programming concepts, but I haven't done lots of the statically typed functional things, although I think they're interesting too. Also into site reliability engineering. I like building and running production systems. I've run some pretty big systems before, definitely much bigger things out there, but I have some experience with that. And it's a thing I like doing. Like things don't really feel real to me until they're shipped out into production in some way. So that's a little bit about me. Check back here. No one's screaming and hollering, so I'll take lack of chat as a good sign. I wonder if I should have anything. I guess someone would have chatted me too if anything was not okay. So I'll just keep going here. Okay, so there's two things I had on the agenda for today. Close all this. Oh, by the way, in case anyone's interested, so I like the whole knowledge management tool space. This is LogSeq. I'm also a fan of Roam Research and follow that. I wouldn't say I'm like an active participant in that community, but anyway, if you're wondering what this tool is, that's what it is. and it's a pretty interesting space to explore. So, and I think there's actually a relationship to Arweave because if you want knowledge management at scale, I think immutability and permanence are prerequisites for that. So it's all connected. Anyway, two things I want to work on today. One is producing a Malli spec for some Arweave data, and then if we get to it, I kind of suspect we won't, but we'll see. I don't know how long it'll go. Probably 2 hours or so is the upper limit. But if we get to it, work on some rate limiting for Docker. So if you start running Arweave yourself, like doing mining or even just having a node that's not doing mining but sharing data, one thing you'll run into, especially if you were to say deploy it into AWS, is that egress might kill you. So in AWS, you don't really get billed for ingress. I think that's pretty much universally true. I'm trying to think if there's any exceptions. Basically, yeah, data coming in doesn't cost you anything on EC2. Data going out does cost you. And there's settings in Arweave that you can change around how much data syncing it tries to do. Um, but they don't limit the actual bandwidth. So if you have someone on the other end with a really, you know, robust internet connection, they can really eat into your AWS bill. So um, I have a thing I'm working on for the mining pool, which is basically like a packaged version of the miner, and I want to put in rate limiting at the container level so that you just know like it's not going to exceed this amount of throughput. I should say bandwidth limiting. Rate limiting implies like a request limit. Okie dokie. So yeah, let's get started. So the Malli spec, probably some people don't know. Malli, do I have it open? I might have it open. No, I don't. Okay. So Malli is a data-driven specification language for Clojure. There's a few different spec languages in Clojure. There's Clojure spec, which is built into the language. Um, there's Prismatic, now Plomatic, schema, which was, I think, the earliest or one of the earliest efforts around this, and now there's Malli. And they all have pros and cons. I think Plomatic schema, people still use it. Nothing, how should I say? It's stable. It works. I don't think lots of new projects are choosing it at this point. I could be wrong, but if they are, they're kind of doing it in stealth. The main options going forward, I think, are spec and schema. Spec is good. We're still waiting on like another version of spec that's going to be the more fully baked realization of the vision there. Um, it doesn't specify the specifications as data. It specifies them, in Clojure, which I think is good for what it's trying to accomplish, but has some downsides if you want to share or store specs. So Malli is a new entrant here, and it describes data specs with this kind of hiccup-like, which if you don't know, hiccup is a way to basically specify HTML-like structures uh, in Clojure. Cool. Okay, so a few goals with this. I don't think I've fully motivated Malli, but probably I'm talking too much and should do more coding. So um, there's two goals I want to accomplish with this, or like motivations for this. One, this is what's driving this, is I want specifications for these things to embed into the strong pool protocol. So the strong pool protocol, that's going to be the distributed mining protocol. Part of that is going to be include Arweave blocks, essentially. It's not going to be blocks. It's going to be more like candidate blocks. But anyway, it's going to follow the same block format as Arweave. And then I just think it'd be good to have more protocol documentation. There is protocol documentation, but more of it and more of it available as data that other people can use, I think would be good. With that motivation in mind, some goals. So it would be nice if it's usable on JSON, right? If this is just usable in Clojure, doesn't do the ecosystem a lot of good, and ultimately all the communication between Arweave nodes or is happening in JSON, I think, or at least the main, the protocol is largely the user-facing part of the protocol is largely JSON. This might imply non-namespaced keys, which if you're not a Clojure person, we'll get into that. I'm not sure. I think maybe we could just namespace them all with one namespace and then sort of attach namespaces on the way in. I might want to do that because the schema is going to have better properties in Clojure if it's namespaced. It should have a nice JSON schema representation. So if I want this to escape the Clojure world at all and be useful to other people in Arweave, I think most people building on top of Arweave are, the majority are using TypeScript. So playing nice with that world would be good. And so having JSON schema representation would be nice. Also, I do not think there's any open API definition for the Arweave API. I could be wrong on that, but certainly having JSON schema for that would be nice. Okay, so lots of me rambling at the beginning here. So let's get into it. I'm in Emacs here. I have my Clojure code over here on the left, and over here is just it's using REST client for Emacs, which I don't use a lot, but seem kind of nice in this context. And I'm going to hit my own Arweave nodes. So if I go here, the top level, the root gives you the status, which just says, okay, we're connected to the Arweave network. Version. I actually don't know. I should have checked. I don't know what the version there. Release is the release of the software. Tells us the current block. I think this is number of blocks I have. Anyway, I should not go into all the details there. The main thing I want to start with here is the block format. Also, let me just ping. Aw, 3 concurrent viewers. That's it. Let me check my Twitter here. See if anything's going on. Oh, well, okay. Sadness. All right, I won't pollute my recording too much with that. Although I guess I can edit it anyway. Okay, so let's retrieve that block. I had done a tiny bit of prep for this, so I have one here. Let's go ahead and grab the current, just the current block. It's still the current block, current-ish block. Let's put it that way. Okay, grab that. So you can get retrieve a block by hash. Actually, let's just do both of these just for posterity here. So you can retrieve blocks by hash or by block number or block height, I should say, in the correct blockchain parlance. All right, so let's do this one. Okay. So in theory, if I do this, I think this works too. Let me delete that buffer just to make sure. Yeah, okay, so same thing. So you can get it by height or you can get it by hash. Okay, so let's take this thing. And we'll put it here. Actually, you know what? Let's take that and put it in a separate file. Uh-oh. No, my Emacs. Should have thought that through. Okay, you know what I might do is we'll do it this way. I may have to kill that. The blocks are pretty big, and it might be trying to do some sort of crazy parsing of that. They're pretty big because they contain all this data for the proof of access. So yeah, let's retrieve it using another method. that's not the same one, but I'm not sure I care. I won't waste your time by trying to find the same one. Okay, we'll put that into block.json. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna. Who knows what it's trying to do with all that? Yeah, that's not gonna work. Okay. Okay. Let's hope I didn't save that. No. Okay. Cool. What else? So we should probably let's see. Clojure. So get a JSON parser in there. Boop. Okay. I will probably end up moving this into like a dev dependency, but for now I'll just throw it here for expediency. And maybe while we're at it too, let's do, first let's get this up here. So the documentation, oh, I did that already. Okay. Let's get this too. Just so we can do some HTTP requests easily. And again, I'll move these out of the top level dependencies because these won't actually be part of the library proper, but okay. Okay. So get a REPL. For non-Clojurists, typical workflow for Clojure is you connect to a running Clojure process, you type some code into your editor, you send the code to the running process, and you do stuff with it. So it's very interactive, which is the way you should develop, in my opinion. And I'm sorry if you have inferior environments that don't let you do that. All right, so let's see here. Let's get Malli loaded up. Aha. Am I displaying something? I should be. Interesting. I gotta remember too, there's a lag. I'm not used to that. Um, do you not see anything right now? In theory, you should see my screen. I wish the chats were timestamped too. Huh. I wonder if I should be interesting. Okay. Huh. Okay. Well, I'll have to see what's going on there. I think what I'll do in theory right now I should be sharing my entire screen. And that's certainly what I see in my stream. That's confusing because see, when I look at YouTube, I actually see what I think I should be streaming. I mean, what I think, yeah. let me try. Yeah, let me just yeah, so hopefully let me sorry, on the fly debugging here. At least I get to make a video of this that will edit out all this stuff out. I've stopped sharing momentarily. I'm going to do some chatting here. I don't think you all need to see my DMs. I think another lesson here is I do not have multiple screens set up at the risk of completely hosing myself. I think I probably need to have somewhere I can see chats. It's sort of out of view of the video here. Yeah. Interesting, interesting, interesting. I'm gonna try, okay, so some stuff has been visible. Let me, I'm gonna remove the window capture, yes. I wonder, let me check too. Stream is in excellent condition. All right, well, very interesting. So right now, I think you should be seeing a black screen. I'm gonna turn on screen sharing and let me know if you see something once I turn this on. Let's see. Bloop. I did think of doing this as a Google Meet, and honestly, I don't know. I'm a little bit torn because then this could be a lot more interactive. Other people could talk, but then certain people probably would be less likely to join that, and it's a little more cumbersome in terms of like people joining and leaving. Um, so I don't know. I plan to do this fairly regularly. I'll keep experimenting. If this one's completely bombs, that's fine. I mean, fine for me. Maybe fine for everyone else. I don't know. All right, the suspense here. This is all conversation. Okay, yep, you see stuff. Okay, so you might end up seeing, um, see my Twitter here, but whatever. This is all just conversation about the current situation. Okie dokie. Yeah, so I don't know. I may be really fascinated editing this to see what you were all seeing. Yeah, not gonna do that again because okay. I also wonder if my X configuration is factoring into this at all. I don't know. Lots to learn. Okay, so JQ block JSON. Oh, dot. No, other way. There we go. Okay, so I have a block. Um, doo, 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 doo. Okay. Do that. We'll call it Cheshire. I don't want to confuse things too much. Okay. So if I were to do, should be able to slurp the block. Oh, interesting. I wonder. Huh. I don't know. There might be some OBS stuff I still need to learn. Okay. I'm just going to go under the assumption that you can see what I'm doing right now. I should have also recorded with OBS, and then I have two separate recordings. But anyway, okay, distracting myself here. And it's it's complaining about this will be interesting. I guess I don't care in this context. It's complaining about slurp because this is a CLJC file, which would let me use it in either Clojure or Clojure script, and of course slurp only exists in Clojure. But that's fine. I'm just going to ignore my linter for the moment. Okay, so boop, boop. Yeah, okay, so we're reading the file. Do Cheshire slash. Yep, that's fine. Oh, I wonder. Aw. Oh, yeah. Really? Invalid token. Wow, even? Okay. Okay, cool. Basically, just complaining about my comments there. Read string, I think. Shush. Ooh, I missed an H. See, this is where if I had actual audio with other people, someone would have said, yeah, you're missing an H. I may try to figure out some other venue for this because the lack of audio feedback from people is not awesome. Okay. Ooh. Read string. Is read string not a thing? What do we got? Parse? Parse string. Parse, yeah, there we go. Shows you a not super frequent Cheshire user here. Okay. Okie dokie. Oh no. I can't even pretty print it. It's gonna like push me into Visual Studio Code or something. Ouch. Or, yeah. It's that chunk there at the end that's doing it to me, I'm sure. Okay, we can probably deal with that. So more kinks to work out for next time. So we'll kill -9 that again. Okay, so let's do, let's see, it's actually not something I do very often, but there is a, what is a dissoc? Oh, there's not. Okay, well, we'll just do this. So we can just, it's going to be a string. Let's do keys. Okay, so yeah, I was almost tempted just right now to fire up a Google Meet. You know what I could do? I could fire up, yeah, let's do that. I'm going to fire up a Google Meet in parallel. Maybe that could be my my workflow. So let me do that because the lack of audio is just don't get new enough feedback, which was really my original plan to do Google Meet, but then start an instant meeting. Yes, I want instant meeting. Bloop. Okay, I will just throw caution to the wind. And Join my Google Meet. Do that. Oh, no, I'm over the YouTube thwarts me at every. Here we go. Google Meet URL. Hopefully people can join that. What I don't know when I do this, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I'm not sure what's going to happen to my audio in terms of like capturing the audio for the YouTube stream, but so I threw a Google Meet in the YouTube chat. Join that, and then we can have proper back and forth here. And hopefully I get some sort of recording out of this that's usable. I think I will also settings. Oh, where's my little shared link? Chat with everyone, meeting details. There we go. Copy joining info. I'll just drop this into a few other places. I'm going to pause my screen share for just a second. I hope. Otherwise, you can like view my personal conversations here. Whatever. Hmm. Interesting.
Hello.
Hello.
It's well, not quite as clear as our phones. I'm down in Minneapolis anyway, so.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell it was you for a second. Yeah, the audio isn't quite as good
Yeah.
here.
So yeah, it's definitely a different experience.
Indeed. Like I don't. So I'll resume capturing my screen here. I'll see. I'm gonna close any chats. I'm not sure if anyone else will join the meeting. I think this is probably what I'll do in the future. Let's see. Do I want to do my camera? No, I don't really care about the camera. I may do that too, but I wasn't really prepped for it. But yeah, I don't mind talking to people, but it's especially since I don't stream much, it's hard to know if things are working at all. Um, were you?
Yeah, and I have no idea what the lag is for you either, because
It's pretty
um,
atrocious. So yeah, I think this might be my workflow in the future, do a combination so I get better feedback and can know if
yeah,
things are working or not. Um,
I mean, you could always, maybe you're trying to avoid Zoom, but that would be another option. Um,
yeah, I mean,
I,
I'm not really trying to avoid it. Like it's fine. I think the YouTube. I was originally planning on just doing Google Meet because for this very reason, but I figured the YouTube, oh, people could just drop in and out. Seems like probably there aren't either they've been scared off by the glitches or there weren't that many people trying to connect, which is, interesting just in the conversion rate sense of like how many people like the original tweet and how many people actually show up. But that's fine.
Hmm.
It's all going to be recorded. That's half the reason to do it too. Uh, but anyway, yeah, I figured people could drop in and out easier with YouTube and that, or people, they might be wary of like joining a meeting. Oh, maybe they're going to be, sort of recorded in a
Right.
way they don't want to, that kind of thing. It seems like I'm not yet at the threshold where that's probably the overriding concern, overriding concern. So I could even, um, just do Google Meets and
Hmm.
record them and then post them. Which
Does Twitch provide any kind of audio
I
feedback?
don't know. I should look into that too. I think in terms of reaching a broad audience, I think YouTube probably is a better bet. But
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, I don't know. This whole thing is like I gotta learn how to do this. You know, I'm showing my age and newbiness here on live streaming. So, but anyway, let's
Yeah.
keep going. Uh, hopefully something.
Well, and one of the benefits of having a small audience right now is that they're not all seeing the trials and tribulations of
Yeah,
an incipient
I hope at least
live
getting
coder.
audio out of that first part because then I can at least maybe cut some of that up and just splice it in with other things since I said a bunch of stuff at people at the beginning. So
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
let's see. Let me do my Google Meet sharing here because
I'm assuming John is a relative.
what?
I'm assuming John Whittington is a relative.
Oh yes, yes. Why is he? Where is he in the?
He, he was the other person in the
Yeah.
chat.
Okay. Yeah, that's my dad.
Oh,
Do, 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 do. I was wondering if he had joined the meet, but apparently not. Okay, present now. My entire screen? Yes, why not? Let's share my entire screen. Okay. I'm presenting my screen. Yes, this I know worked because I tried this in the past. Okay, so I'm the number of ways in which I'm sharing and recording is kind of melting my brain right now. Okay.
so for me right now, the everything is black.
Even in Google Meet?
Oh wait, does Google Meet have a video aspect to it too?
Yeah.
I'm just on the phone. I'm
Oh, okay. Well, let me
clearly I'm new at this too. So
wow, interesting. Everything is black through YouTube?
through YouTube, yep. I'm just got a black screen.
Okay.
Let me try refreshing. Oh, okay. Now it came back. I don't
Oh
know
yeah,
what's
I'm
going
gonna be fascinated to go look at the recording. Two concurrent viewers too, which I guess would be you and my dad probably. So, okay. Well, very interesting. Let's go here. So, you can have a really interesting experience if you're
on.
watching the video because I think it's going to be like significantly behind.
Okay. I want so like the Google Meet thing
Yeah.
is so the way I logged into that was with there's a phone number
Mm-hmm.
which that so I called that and I entered the PIN
Yeah.
and that's me talking to you right now. I didn't see an option to get a,
Oh, let me
a
try.
video thing.
Let me try. Um, I pasted a whole big thing into YouTube.
Oh,
But then it was like I don't know, the things are just compounding here. It was over the length of what YouTube would let me paste. So I grabbed the URL out of it. No doubt the wrong URL.
Oh, okay.
Probably just like the teleconference one. All right. Well, let's see here.
And now I have managed.
Info, copy joining info. Aha. Let's try this. Um, Nope. What kind of notification? Oh, that's fine. Okay, I think that one should get you. Let me throw that into YouTube too. Let's try this.
Aha, that looks.
Okay. Yeah, if I do it this
Oh
way,
gosh.
you getting a better view now?
Well, I'm disabling my camera.
Oh, exciting. Okay.
so,
Um,
um,
Oh, you might
yeah,
have
the quality of the
to.
quality of the
camera. Oh,
camera.
yeah,
Oh
this
yeah,
is
this
much
is
better.
much better.
So I think you're in
Let
here
me
Let
twice.
me
disconnect
just.
my phone.
Yeah, you got it. Okay, there we go. Cool. Yeah, I bet that's a setting I could do in terms of whether or not video, or maybe it's something you have set. Yeah, another reason for just not Zoom for me personally is that I have Google Workspaces, and Meet comes with that, and so like Google has me basically. The package price there is cheaper than me paying for Zoom. So I can't. Are you still there? I think you are.
I'm.
Oh, there we go.
Uh,
Maybe. Audio is a mixed.
well, I have also. I I must have another window open, um, and I'm trying to figure out where it is,
Okay,
because I'm hearing delay, like a 2 minute delay on something,
interesting.
which is really bizarre.
Okay, well, again, it's a learning experience. This first one. I'm gonna keep going here in case I can get some actual useful content out of this. Okay, so hide, go away, pesky thing at the bottom of my screen. Oh, I can't do that. Okay, okay. Interesting. Oh, it's because I haven't had to kill Emacs, and so I'm not even connected to Clojure yet. It's like, why is nothing evaluating? There we go. That should give me something more useful.
Okay, I think I killed the other my 2 minute delay. Oh boy, that was
Yeah, I'm
bizarre.
highlighting correctly. Woo! All right, fun times. Okay, so now we can do some useful stuff. So I should be able to disoc the offending thing out of there, and we can start doing some more useful stuff there. Okay, so if I were to, okay, please don't kill Emacs. EPE, okay, cool. So this is basically what we're working with. I dropped, there's a, in the block structure, there's the data about, the stuff that needs to be in the block, right? Like transaction hashes. There's also the consensus stuff in there, the proof of access, which has this big chunk of storage data, which is needed to prove access. Um, but it's, in terms of what you usually put in the Emacs buffer, it's quite large, and that's what was causing the issue. So I just dissocied the proof of access out of that thing, so so we can do something useful with it, and try to pop the nested levels of craziness off the stack here. Okay, so now can, in theory, through the back of my head, I'm like, would Wayland work better for this than X? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that that's gonna help. Um, okay, so we can start building up a schema for this thing. So we'll just call this def block, and we'll say, so it's not a map, right? It's hiccup data structure. So we got uh, map, and in here, okay, so the question would be, do we do namespace keys? And I'm leaning towards yes, because I think it's going to be a real pain to use the data structures in Clojure if they're not namespace. So for anyone who, if anything listenable comes out of this, anyone listening, so Clojure has this concept of, it has namespaces, right? That's, your code is namespaced, but it also has keywords, and you can namespace the keywords. So you could do something like this, or I could say, like, let's pick something out of here, hash, right? So if I evaluate that, this evaluates to itself. And so this means, this is all just convention. There's something magical about this, but Clojure does give you some tools for pulling the parts of this out. This means that this is a hash within this context. This is just a good data hygiene practice in general, that most things you're talking about are contextual, and you want to make that explicit, the context in which you're talking about these things. So the
Is
issue is,
is there a disadvantage to that with JSON at all, other than the fact that some
yeah.
of the
So
tools in other languages?
I was looking into that a little bit ahead of time. So yeah, let me get the JSON. Maybe I have it open still. Yeah. So I do want to get JSON schema out of this, and the way I think, well, you know what? We can just do it, right? So let's just make let's make one. So go back and just look at my Malli documentation. So we got a map, and we're going to have, start at the top here, we're going to have in-depth hash, and I'm intentionally not namespacing it first, so we'll look at it both ways. So string, okay, so if I were to put that down in the comments here, so validate, which way do my arguments go here? It's the schema. Yeah, okay, schema is the data structure, right? So if I do validate block, this hash foo. Oh, probably because, there we go. Yeah, it just complained because I actually hadn't evaluated this yet. So, right, so if I validate that's true. So let's go ahead and put the namespace in there. So I would expect, my watch just told me my stress is high. Thanks, watch. Okay. Okay, so clearly that, is just sort of checking the basic stuff here. So that doesn't validate. So now if we put the schema, I'm sorry, the namespace in there. Yeah, so we validate. So let's go ahead and JSON schema, bloop, bloop, Malli JSON schema. Okay, yeah, sure. I don't know if I actually like calling it JSON schema. I guess in this context, it's not a bad name. Okay, so if we were to, and transform, is it just transform gives you the JSON schema? Yeah, so let's do JSON schema transform. This, by the way, is non-Clojure is. This is why REPL-driven development is awesome. You can just explore stuff and see how it works very easily. Um, of course, since I'm screen sharing, like the very bottom of my window is covered by the. Okay. Although I guess I could pretty print that anyway, so what does it matter? Okay. So we're getting a Clojure. Oh, interesting. So I think what we would need to do. Yeah, let's try this. Um, Clojure. Do I have the Clojure API up? I think I closed it. Okay. So walk. Don't use this often enough. So
What are you trying to do right now?
I want to walk. Let's look at the source for this. I basically want to walk and get the names of the keys. So name. Yeah, that might work. Because let's see. I think if I do, I think name on this gives me, if I remember correctly, name on a namespace key will give you the string version. Yeah. So if I were to Clojure walk as walk, because clearly like this is not quite
Well,
this
what
part.
happens if you just generate string off of that? Because that otherwise would look like JSON schema. I think.
You think if I just
I,
if I were just to like generate string of the JSON schema there, that's a fine
well, I'm
start
curious
to
to see what it would end up doing.
generate.
I'm guessing
Oops.
it's going to create the properties will have an object
Core.
that has a string key that has dots and slashes in it.
Aw, no wrapping. Yeah, this is
Well, that's it. Just doesn't pretty print. Um,
yeah.
so I think the only disadvantage of that for in terms of other people using JSON is the fact that a lot of other tools, um, you know, they wouldn't be
Well,
able to
yeah. I
make that
mean,
into whether there are symbols
yeah.
or
I mean, the other
dictionary
thing
keys and
is like
stuff.
as a schema, this does not validate against the actual thing. In other words, if I
Oh,
this
they don't have the concept of like required namespaced like spec does.
right, exactly. So, I want a schema because ultimately, I mean, this is this is like far future. I would really love to have a Clojure implementation of Arweave and both the client and a server potentially. So I want this schema to be usable in that context, and then if I'm doing that, it actually has to speak this this literal JSON language here. Um, and this I'm going to be storing it. I guess that's not entirely true. I could store it. I was going to say I'd be storing this as is in my data structures. I could alter it. I don't. I'm skeptical that's a good idea. Just because it puts, makes other people do work to get it back into the original
Right.
format it was in. And if other people want to validate it, it's going to be easier for them, I think, in this format. So I would be tempted to just do, I think if I do a, let's see, to stringify keys takes a map, right? So I should be able to um, do block, um, transform. I'll check my YouTube stream, see if who's. I think everyone left the YouTube stream.
Well, well, that was how I was getting really bad echo.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
so
well, one
unfortunately, I
person on
can't
the
see the
YouTube
chat
stream.
over there while I'm in Meet, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Interesting. I'll have to think about what the right iteration of this is for next time. There is one person on there again. Awesome. I could. I started recording with OBS too, um, so maybe something. I don't know. I'm really curious to see what the recording of this looks like at the end out of YouTube because I just have no clue what it's looking like there, and it should be informative.
mhm.
Um, I could also Google Meet Record, which would be. I'm not going to do that now, but that would be helpful because then I know I would be recording the same thing that other people like you are hearing.
Right, right.
Um,
Your
okay,
audience of one.
yeah, my audience one. Wow, hey, audience of one is good. Gives me someone to bounce things off of. I guess I'm just hoping that out of this I get some usable recording that I can post.
Right,
Uh,
right.
if not, chalk it up to learning, and I'll do something better next time. Okay, so transform, and then if I do a walk stringify keys, um, yeah.
Yep.
So that I think, I guess the one question would be, it's still okay. It doesn't quite get me there. I think in principle though this should work. The thing that stringify keys isn't going to do for me is like not all the um, I
Hmm.
need to do a version that walks into other things and transform.
Yep.
But I think this proves out the principle that basically I can just go through there and detect everything that needs to be transformed a little bit and get a usable non-namespaced version as well. So I'm going to go
Yep.
with namespaced and hope that isn't a big foot gun later. Okie dokie. So let's go back to this guy. Okay. Part of the fun of this is actually figuring out what all this stuff is too. If you go look at the Arweave HTTP docs, not that one, this one. They have some of this documented, but mostly what they have documented is well, there's really two things, I guess. There's the yellow paper, and then there's this HTTP doc. And the yellow paper tells you a lot, but it's in it's in this nicely formatted PDF, which is not usually what you want as a reference. So you can go through here and find a lot of information, and you can go here and find some information. This is more the information you would want, or mostly covers the information you would want as a user of the thing. But if you really want to document the protocol, there's missing things as far as I can tell. I don't want to impugn anyone unnecessarily here, but like not, I think not everything is here, or at least it's not spelled out. If it is, might be scrolled off to the right. I also have this kind of problem with that page, which I don't quite understand. I don't know if it's just the size of it. Anywho, um, certainly it's missing like the independent hash. So the actual best reference for this that I found is, well, yellow paper is good, but in here, you look in the Erlang code, Um, it's all pretty nicely commented what this stuff is. And then you can, of course, go look at the code and see what it's doing too. So we can start with that. So a cool thing in Malli, you can add properties to things. You know what? I guess I'm not going to go down that. I'd be tempted to just take the definitions from here and paste them over here. However, this side is GPL2 and this side is MIT. So I probably need explicit permission to do that, or I need to go
Mm.
through here and sort of write this all down from recollection, not referring to this code while I'm doing it. So um, trying to have good licensing hygiene here. Uh, so, but this is a good reference. So the independent, there's basically two kinds of hashes. There's the hash of the block without any of the chain info. So just like what's the hash of this data, and then there's the like hash that includes dependent stuff like the nonce. Nonce is how you say that. I think that's how you say that. Um, it's one of those words I read a lot, but I don't actually say a lot.
I think it's nonce actually,
Nonce,
but
nonce.
um,
I'll go with that. But anyway, so there's basically a hash of this as a piece of standalone data, and then a hash of it with the stuff that's there for the consensus. And the hashes that you paste around and use to refer to things are the independent hashes. Um, okay, let me get the block back up here. Okay, so we got the independent hash. We have the height, which is just each block is sequentially after the next one. Int's a thing, right? That's the actual predicate for.
it might be spelled integer.
Is there a long predicate? No, it's just int. I wonder too. Int. Is there? There is. Which one of these? I bet one of these is the actual type, and one of them, right? So this one is probably give me false for this, right? No, this one
They
does.
ended up um,
No. What's the difference?
when they I think they added some
Oh,
for consistency when they
gotcha.
like added spec because there was some
Is it
inconsistency in spellings.
is that it, or is it like a Clojure script thing too? I wonder. Well,
Um,
whatever. It's clear that they want they want the short one, so we'll go with that. Height's int, weave size. Um, so this is another decision, right? So weave size.
well, that's a string though, right?
Yes, but oops, that's also not how you spell weave. Um,
You need like a numeric string
number.
predicate.
Yeah, and the let's go look at int. What does that actually do? So if I were to put, see, Clojure, let me do this. Yes, it does, right? So we can have very, okay, so let's do false. Okay, interesting. What I want to do is have this specified as a number and have the schema, the Clojure schema, probably not the JSON schema, um, coerce for me. I don't even know if there's capabilities in JSON schema to do that. I think Node. Well, I forget. There's certainly libraries for JavaScript that will let you handle big numbers, but I don't remember if Node has built-in stuff or not. But that's not an int. So
I think number employs the numeric tower.
it doesn't.
It probably conflates decimal and
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So number, I would assume, let's check, true. I would think that this also gives me
true.
true.
And did you try integer? I mean, you can in
That's a good point. Yeah, well, clearly that's not going to be. Oh, interesting, interesting. So int, fascinating.
might be in 32 an integer.
Okay, so type big int. Okay.
Are are those things in
Long.
the second position for Malli just any arbitrary Boolean like predicate function?
Good question. I think probably not.
Mhm.
Don't think I'm going to go down that rabbit hole at the moment. So, okay, this is interesting though. So oops, if I look at this is one thing that's kind of nice about Erlang is Erlang um, is a little more transparent about this because it's not, it has its own VM. Transparent, is that the right word? I don't know. Maybe by some definition, this is transparent, showing exactly what it's doing. Um, Erlang makes it easier. Let's put it that way. Okay, so that's a long. That passes this. So the int predicate is actually handles longs and integers, but not whatever the cutoff is there, but not. But this one handles, but not big integers.
Does Clojure allow you to spell a long like 10L?
I don't know. Good question. Does it
Is that
like that? Nope.
I know it will. I think it allows M. Sorry, I don't mean to distract you.
No, that's fine. I was just checking the stream. It's like no one's on the stream. Probably, I don't know. I'll have to listen to the recording and see what the heck is going on there. Uh, Data types. If I saw a quick link, I would dig into that. I don't recall it having. It does. It lets you do this.
Oh, what's the N?
That's for the. See, what is it actually? I think this will work too. Big int.
Oh,
Does
okay.
it? I forget if there's. Is there like a big decimal? I don't think it has any native big
There's an
decimal.
M one too,
Oh, is there?
I
What's
believe.
the M? Oh, big
Yeah.
decimal. Ah, I don't know if I was aware of that. I guess it doesn't show up as often because, floats can be arbitrarily large, just get inaccurate.
Uh, on
Okay.
this whole front, I was surprised to know that you can also spell integers as hexadecimal with 0x, um,
So,
um,
coercion.
which
Okay. Let's let's go ahead and tighten this up too. So this really should be to B64U. So it's base64 URL. Let's see exactly what that is. I think that's RC46. So we got, yeah, basically the alphabet, numbers, and dash underscore and padding. Do not think, I don't know if we have padding ever. I don't think so. Let's I'll do a regex without. So B64U don't know if I want to call it that. We'll call it that temporarily. Okie dokie. A through Z, A through C, 0 through 9. Oh, can I just throw? I guess we'll find out. I don't know for sure. And a number of those. So do find regex first, I think. Let's put something that doesn't match. Would be no, does match would be. That works, and then a capital, lowercase, a number, dash, and underscore. Boom. And if I just double checking. Ooh, wait, what? Oh, because I'm
You're not
anchored.
anchored.
Yeah.
Did you reeval?
Why? Oh, duh. I got that. It's not. It shouldn't be a dot there. It should be just like that. There we go. Okay, so if I remove this, this should work. Empty string, non-matching, and one more time. AZ 009 dash underscore. Cool. So what's the Malli syntax for that? RE. Interesting. So is that just like this? RE, and then I wonder if it requires a, probably should put the literal in there actually. Well, I'll do the literal for now. So let's do that. So then if I were to validate, do I have that already somewhere? Validate? Yeah. Okay, so this should validate. No? Why not? What about this?
Does Malli have an option to tell you why not? Explain
Yeah, it
data
should.
equivalent.
Explain. I don't think it. Oh, I wonder if it. Well, let me print that out. It might be. Yeah, missing keys. Which I do really want them to be required, so I'll just comment them out for a second. So. Cool. I guess I'll just keep using explain. I should be able to do this too, so I might as well just, yeah, use it on the real thing, right? Well, I'll keep both so I can play around with it. That, and then like so.
And if you want this to be able to be ported to JSON schema, that will limit some of the options that you use in Malli, I suspect.
Likely, yeah. I'm just assuming that I'll, strip out the stuff that's not compatible, as long as I can have a subset of my schema
Mm-hmm.
that I can use in JSON, JavaScript world. Okay, so what's going on here with explain block? Right, other way around. I want this classic. Needs to be in the last argument for this one. Okay, cool. I think it gives me nil. Why does this give me confused what's going on? Errors. Okay, so it's actually got an error in there. Oh, because right. So interesting. I'm gonna keep them. This does complicate my development of this, doesn't it? If I namespace them right now, I will keep them non-namespace for the moment, and then later on, step 2 will be namespacing. So I'll do. This will let me iterate faster. Okay, cool. So if I start doing this, height, weave size.
I know it's temporary, but it feels a little painful stripping out useful information. The namespace.
Well, yeah. I mean, what I'm going to do, pretty soon is just write a utility that creates this for me, and that will close the loop there.
Right.
Okay, so that would be failing because of go check the reason, but yeah, so that's not going to fly. So let's okay, that's fine. So coercion in Malli. This I wonder too. Okay. Oh, wrong window. Do. Coerce. Decoder string transformer. Okay. Okay. So I want decoder schema transform. Where does transform come from? Not helpful, Malli documentation. String transformer. I think that's a typo. It should be Malli dot. Is this a separate library? I'm confused now. Transform. Or my completion is failing me. Maybe my completion is failing me. Okay. Okay, cool.
Have you fired up Clojure LSP yet on your machine?
I have a little bit. I haven't been using it consistently. I just
Yeah, there is a
problem.
Malli.transform
You know.
namespace.
So I think I want MT transformer block MT string transformer. Okay. Then string transformer. Decoder, schema, transform, string transformer. Okay. Hmm. Ooh, fascinating. Decode. Oh, okay. Well, let's try. Let's just try this. So M decode block. Wow, is that really how they string transformer? Okay. I'm gonna do this. Okay. We'll call this B. All right. Decode block B. I don't like that. I don't get why they put that argument in that spot. Okay, well that does it. Why did they put that in the middle? Okay, so I guess we could do. So weird. There must be some reason they know what they're doing in Clojure, but I'll just do this for expedience here. Partial M decode block, and then so we can thread the decoder empty string, and then Malli explain that, and this one still needs to be thread last. In case this recording is usable and non-Clojure people are watching, the threading, the little arrows here are basically ways to unwrap stuff that looks like, A, B, I guess I'll just do this, C, D, so that would end up being something like E, D, C, B, A. So it's just a way to write Lisp expressions in a little bit more I guess I would say natural. It's natural is kind of a loaded word, but it's a pipeline you're going through, and it's kind of weird to write the thing that happens first last, and so this lets you unroll that, and then this one puts it, as the last argument instead of the first argument, which you can't see in my little example, but
I wonder if the one you've got there would be a candidate for as
maybe.
I don't use it very much, but
Yeah. Oh, I'm still still deafing stuff there. Okay, cool. So now I wonder. I bet it's still within that range. Let me find out. Yeah. Yep. But it doesn't necessarily have to be. Someday it will be exabytes or whatever's after exabytes. I don't know. How big does it have to be to overflow long? Large. Of course, this the version of the JSON has more difficult constraints because I think you can only get 53 bits of precision out of integers in JavaScript. Integers, air quotes, integers. Okay. Hash, you got the same thing. Okay, so now we're getting to the point where okay, I can remove that to do. So the hash is again yeah, I just think like, why is the hash? But that's because of the difficulty. These are all why is it all underscores? But yeah, that makes sense. It has to exceed the difficulty threshold. So for the B64U, I wonder if we can use a registry for that, which I haven't used a lot yet in Malli, but it does have which is also why I want to do the namespace keys, because if I do namespace keys everywhere, then I can define stuff in the registry and have it reference, have things reference each other. So if I do the registry, how does it work? I have to go look. I looked at this a little bit, but this is definitely going to teach me if I really like Malli or not. So far I do, but the registry, there it's merging in. So ref cons is just showing me recursive stuff. What I want to know is, can I define can I do something like B64 64U, something like this, and then down here do something like this, and then down here validate, maybe string, registry is the last thing. Oof, they do it all over the place, putting like an optional thing. Wonder if that's going to push me towards making little wrappers for this, for those functions. Registry, and default registry. Fascinating. Okay. I guess I will. The explainer. What a terrible title. Explain block. Oops. Then I can just do explainer block, and I also wonder if my decoder needs a registry. Probably. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah.
Elucidator. You could use that.
Elucidator.
I'll give you that one for free.
Nice. The explainer is like it's like some sort of anti-hero shows up to meetings and like mansplains at you or something. I don't know.
And is arch enemy the mansplainer?
Schema, invalid schema. Where's that coming out of? Is that coming out of? I should do these one at a time. What I'm curious about, I'm not sure. Okay, so that. So can registry? Can I put a registry there? I guess I should check. Yeah, let's try it. I'm trying to do too many things at once here. Let's check this. Okay, so that. I don't know. I don't know if you can do what I'm trying to do there. Yeah, invalid schema. Okay, so yeah, I'm not sure if you can do that. I really want to be able to say, like, here's a named although it might also be expecting this. Let's try this. I think no. Okay. Yeah, that's too bad. I wonder if I'm not sure if it's something you can do and I'm missing it, or if it's just not something you can do in Malli. Because I just really want to give a name to.
The common predicates.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if I if I'm thinking about this right. Like in here, it might be more like this because it's doing something with these, and I don't know if it's oops. Oh, yeah, right. Inbound schema. Interesting. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Well, well, well. So,
Hmm.
because what I'm wondering is if I were to define a Malli spec in a file and read it in, I mean, here when I read it in, those are actual functions, and I assume it probably just uses the actual function. I guess I don't know that. I haven't looked at what it's doing. But if I put it in a file and read it in, um, well, let's try this. So I'll just say this is a string. If I put this here, I think this will still work. Oops. Yeah. Well, uh, it won't work because I'm requiring a bunch of stuff that I don't have, but otherwise it will work, I think. Missing key. Oh, yeah. I'm still at the namespace version.
Does it also? I noticed you've been stringifying those. Do they? If they're keywords, do they not work?
No, I think it's going to match on the literal. You mean like this?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think that will match.
gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I would. That's the behavior I would want. Too magical the other way. Um, yeah, that's what I thought would happen because you could put them. I mean, this is one of the things I like about Mali. I can just put the schema in a file. Ultimately, I will. Um, but it makes me wonder. So when you read it in, does it just resolve the predicates simply by it can't be that. It must be something fancier than that. Um, I was gonna say it's like it can't just be like are they do is the resolve in the current namespace or are they in Clojure core? Like it's got to be. Um, I don't know if I want to dig into that. I think I may wrap up here. So that's an interesting question. I need to figure out because what I really want to do is have like B64U defined, and it'd
Right.
be great if I could compose some things too.
Yep.
So like get me block back up here, because like all the data in here is base64 URL um, encoded. So I would just like to apply that to everything and then add some additional predicates. And it would be great if I could name, like, here's my base64U regex that applies to all the data.
Yep.
Because otherwise that's going to be sprinkled everywhere, which, I mean, fine, whatever. It's not going to change. It's the same. It's not complicated, but it'd be better to name it. And there's probably other things like that too, like all the hashes. Uh, I don't know how much consistency there is with the hashes, actually. I guess there's multiple independent hashes. There's the independent hash for the current block. There's the previous block's independent hash. So those should actually be the same. Um, just the reward address. Just trying to think about how much commonality. It's mostly just the base64 stuff, I think, is the main common thing. Well, interesting, interesting. Stuff to figure out for next time, along with all the mechanical aspects of how you stream in a coherent way. All right, I'm gonna wrap up. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I don't think there's anyone else on here. Anyone else brave this stream and got something useful out of it? Thanks to those people too, but I think it was mostly just you and
But
I.
I've I've actually been in the same space you're working in right now, so it's been very applicable. Um,
Cool.
been so cool. Well, nice to hear your voice.
Yeah,
Good
likewise.
luck.
And I'll talk to you around. I'm gonna try to do these weekly. I don't expect you to be able to attend all of them, but
Right, right.
you know, I think it'd be good to keep a regular cadence. And next time, I was actually worried about uh, having more people show up than I wanted initially. I have learned that's not a problem, so I will. I'll post this to some other places where I could probably pick up some more people. So, all right,
Yeah.
talk to you around. Have a good one.
You too. Bye bye.